Time now for the man who's covered every dramatic twist and turn of Charles' ascension to the throne, Britain's top royal author Tom Bower. And among a myriad of challenges on the biggest day of the King's life this weekend, will be coming face to face with his estranged son, Prince Harry. They will meet for the first time since the publication of Harry's hit job memoir Spare, where the Duke of Sussex trashed everything from his dad's parenting skills to calling his Queen wife Camilla dangerous and a villain. So, with King Charles being thrust into the ultimate pressure cooker this Saturday, can he deal with the heat and secure the future of the monarchy? In his hugely critical book on Charles from 2018, Rebel King, The Making of a Monarch, Tom Bower described him as a pampered, petulant and self-pitying prince who has in the past struggled to overcome his unpopularity. So Tom, has the King changed enough since you penned that damning assessment to save the British monarchy?
Well, I think the book gave him a great shock, and undoubtedly he took note of what I said, all the criticisms that many people who worked for him gave me, that he was a petulant, self-indulgent man who would never listen to the advice if it didn't suit his own prejudices, and fired people who didn't agree with him. But I think he has moderated his manner. But let's face it, tomorrow, the coronation really is a charade, in the sense that Charles has orchestrated the lot. He's orchestrated his image, he's orchestrated this great love match with Camilla, and there are many people, and Burrell, of course, is one of the many people who see Camilla as a cruel woman, and Charles is cruel also to Diana. But I think the media in Britain has decided that they've got to support the King because we need a monarchy. And so Charles, to that extent, has been hugely successful. 20 years of manipulating and managing his image, especially after my book came out, when he completely changed the way in which he did operate, especially on the finances, especially his travel, especially on the sort of luxuries which he indulged with. He just cut that out from the public view. And so Saturday, in fact, will be a celebration. But really, after that, the honeymoon is over. I think then King Charles will have to prove himself.
Because certainly the broadcast media, Tom, I mean, they seem out to get the British monarchy. ITV News tonight running a big poll talking about a wave of republicanism sweeping the country. There's definitely that vibe on the BBC and Sly 2. So while I think you're right, the newspapers certainly support Charles and Camilla, I think he's got a rocky road ahead, which brings us, of course, to the rocky road of Harry and Meghan, who have caused so much damage, especially internationally. And this weekend, Charles and Camilla have to come face to face with this guy. How's that going to work?
Well, we don't know actually where Harry's going to be seated.
No.
Seated in the Abbey, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's seated completely out of their eye line. I'm sure that's what both the King and the Queen Consort have asked for. But the point is that from Harry's point of view, Camilla really was the woman who made his own mother very, very unhappy and behaved very badly towards Diana. And there's no doubt that this is not the great love match. Her great love was for Andrew Parker Bowles, and that didn't work out. So I think to an extent, Harry has an argument and some truth in that his stepmother, so to speak, has not been the greatest asset in his own life. And she did cause problems for his own mother. And from Charles's point of view, he wasn't a great father when Harry had lost his mother. He abandoned him a lot, and so he feels guilty. But of course, Harry has been phenomenally disloyal. He has behaved appallingly for a grown man to treat your father, especially the King and everything else, and the country, the way he has. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult for King Charles, but I'm sure that they'll manage it, that if Harry does turn up and doesn't, by some fluke, miss his plane in LA or get grounded by fog in Iceland, that somehow he won't have a role, he won't be present during that whole ceremony.
Well, what do you make of this report from The Spectator today, Tom, that the Queen last year at Balmoral at a dinner party referred to Meghan as evil and said that she could see right through her?
Well, I do think that she was very disparaging, and I think I had quite a few bits about that.
Well, of course, you said, you revealed on that on the day of Prince Philip's funeral, she said, "Thank goodness Meghan's not coming."
Well, that was the Queen.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
the Queen, and the real Elizabeth the Queen, not the pretend,
No, exactly.
not the pretend Queen.
Don't be naughty, Tom.
But no, I do think that. I mean, Harry has behaved appallingly towards Camilla. He is the Queen. He's behaved, said some terrible things, and it was unnecessary. And I can believe that she lost her temper with him, or lost her cool with him. And the sort of thing that Camilla would say is, quite frankly, that he has behaved atrociously, and that is, of course, before she read or heard what he said about her in the book, which was really very uncharitable, unnecessary.
It's interesting, isn't it, though, because I think we can say that Charles and William's once fractious relationship has certainly improved over the past couple of years. It almost feels, Tom, like having a common enemy in Harry and Meghan has brought them together. And looking at all of the polling this week, William and Kate remain Charles's biggest assets, and they're going to play a key role on Saturday.
Well,
too.
absolutely, and there's no doubt about it that if Charles, which some people believed, had gone off to Italy with Camilla and left the throne to William and Kate, then somehow the monarchy would be infinitely more popular than it is today. I mean, Charles does have a Herculean task to win over the Republicans and win over the dissenters. But I do think that the Republicans are egging the cake. They're not as popular as people would like to think. They're a tiny minority. I think 70% of this country certainly would vote for a monarchy instead of President Johnson or President Prescott.
I totally agree, and you know what? I sense a different mood in the air over the past couple of days. I completely agree the last couple of weeks people have been a bit ho-hum about this coronation. Something has changed. I think there's a sense that as a country we want to get behind King Charles.
Well, we want to get behind King Charles because there's no better alternative, and because he symbolises 1,000 years of history, and because we are a monarchy, thank goodness we're a monarchy, and he has done an enormous amount of good.
This has to work,
It has to work, and he has done a lot of good. I mean, he's a flawed man, but that's because he's had 60 years waiting, apprenticeship, so to speak. So we just hope that he pulls it off. That's why I think people are behind it. And those who are against it, they're the people who are against everything. They're against British society. They're against Britain altogether. They would like us to become part of Africa or something.
Which is why I think the BBC is liking it so much. Tom Bower, absolutely brilliant to speak to you. We'll speak next week when we've seen exactly what has gone down.